For this amazing session, we have two great people in the human resource space that will be opening our eyes to several things we need to know, right from recruitment, winning on the job and all. And so, Vanessa, can we have you here to do an excellent job? Thank you, Vanessa.
Good morning, church. Good morning. All right, thank you so much. All right, so winning in the job market, right? This is a conversation that I truly like. Aside from the fact that I'm just an HR professional, it's something that is, for us believers, is very just crucial, because the Bible also talks about he will bless the works of your hands. He needs to see you doing something before he blesses you, right? So I came across a video, during the week from Pastor Iren, and he was talking about where he wanted to refer someone for a job. And he reached out to the company hiring, and he saw that, okay, they had an opening, and he had someone in the church that said, okay, I can do this, I can do that. Lo and behold, he asked the person for a CV, and the person said, I don't have a CV. Right, and the person went on that, okay, what he does majorly is take up his CV and put the anointing oil on it. Right, and that is just a believer. We have so many, I've seen so many stories as an HR professional. Some people are just coming to my DMs on LinkedIn to say, I just want any job. What can you do? I can do customer service. I can do lab technician. I can do this, I can do that. You don't have any specifics, right? So as a believer, this is very crucial, right? And this is a topic that I so much enjoy. Wake me up from my sleep. I can talk about this anytime, any day, right? So we have a guest speaker, and we have a very exceptional HR professional. So with a round of applause, can we welcome Mr. Michael to the stage? Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Michael Oguché is a seasoned human capital development consultant with over 11 years of experience in recruitment, learning and development, and human resources operation. He holds a master's degree in international human resource management and is a fellow of the Institute of Management Consultant, FIMC. He is also an international certified performance coach, a senior professional in human resources, and the author of 9 books. Michael has trained and coached over 6,000 professionals and consulted for organizations across sectors in Nigeria and beyond. His expertise spans leadership development, culture transformation, performance management, and organizational growth. A sought-after conference speaker and facilitator, Michael is passionate about helping individuals and organizations maximize their potential and achieve sustainable success. Tower of David, with Jesus Joy, please make welcome Michael Oguché.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you for doing this with us. Right, so before we go right into the questions that we have, so first of all, when you heard the team winning in the job market, for you, what does that sound like as an HR professional?
I think for me, good morning, everyone. I think when I heard that topic, I said, not again. And the reason is because a lot of times everybody wants to go for the solution. People don't want to walk through the process. The only thing we identify most times is about the job, winning on the job. But there are process, there are steps that leads to those things. So for me, that was what came to mind. So I told myself, I said, no, this is going to be a different approach to winning in the job market, seeking for job opportunities. I'm going to just deal with it in a different way.
All right. That's so good. Thank you so much, sir. All right, so back to what I was saying earlier, where I said a lot of people will just come into my DM on LinkedIn and just say, oh, I'm just looking for any job. Just give me any job. I just want something to do, right? So a lot of people say there are no jobs in Nigeria. I hear this almost on a daily basis. And I see other people to getting jobs, people that are in Nigeria working for clients abroad, right? But you see some set of people say, there are no jobs in Nigeria, there are no jobs in Nigeria. So from your HR perspective, is that really true?
Okay, so what I would say to that is, while I don't want to say it is true or it's not true, because we know that unemployment is on the increase, but what I typically say is, unemployment is a global phenomenon, but joblessness is a choice. Unemployment is a global phenomenon, but joblessness is a choice. So there are jobs, but the number of people competing for those jobs are quite higher. There is a concentration. Everybody wants to work for a particular bank. Everybody wants to work for a particular kind of company. So increasing the number of people who are looking for jobs is a particular areas, whereas there are other opportunities. And when you look at the Jackpot syndrome, you find out that some of the jobs that people are living here, they despise here, they end up going outside to do the same job. So I think it has to do with the fact that some people are looking for certain jobs they are not qualified for.
Yeah, exactly.
Two, some people are also looking for jobs not because that is where they have, advantage. They just want to be part of the people within this sector. For instance, there is nothing you say to me, even if a tech guy is making 10 million a day, that will make tech interest me, because I know it's not my team. Even mathematics, let alone coding. So I know it's not my space. So I think it has to do with, there are jobs. However, there is a high competitiveness in certain quarters. For instance, if I am somebody who is interested in artistry, like this, I can use my hand to do things, and I want to build a brand around that. I can tell you the truth is that there are few people who have, gained visibility with such job opportunities. But everybody want to work with the banks, they work with oil companies and all of that. But there are many opportunities that we are despising. But what has happened lately is that the gig economy has opened our eyes to it. The gig economy whereby somebody can call you and tell you, look, I want you to do this thing for me. Be receiving email on my behalf. Be attending to my emails. Before now, nobody takes that as a real job, but people are earning huge from that frame. So it's all about identifying what is it for me right now, not about where exactly you're going. What can I do right now?
All right, thank you so much, sir. So a follow-up question from that, right? So let's say a fresh graduate coming out of school, university. So how does the person even identify what he or she can do?
Okay, so we all study different courses, right? I studied accounting, but I'm not an accountant, and I'm proud of that. Now, the truth is, you will remember that some of us got admission, or some of us chose certain courses, but some of us, they were given certain courses, right? Now, for myself, for instance, when I was in 200 level, I used to do tutorial for my course mates and all of that. Then, if you study accounting, you will know ACC 201. Thank you. Now, only for me to notice that, I'll say this way, they gave me carryover. I didn't get carryover, they gave me. Now, and I was like, man, I don't miss lectures, I don't miss tests. Before exam, I read my course notes and materials back to back like twice. I'm a very serious person in anything I'm part of. So I said, well, God, what is happening here? And at that point, I know that there needs to be a change. I switched from accounting in 200 level. While I was still attending lecture to pass, to fulfill all requirements, my personal development journey started for HR. So the truth is, if you are one of those people who didn't get that kind of insight while in school, like myself, the truth is when you come out of school, the first thing you want to realize is not even about, oh, I must work in a particular place, I must work in this position. The first thing you want to do is to identify your survivor trend. Your survivor trend. What that means is that gone are the days people send you money for airtime in school. Gone are the days somebody will send you money for transport. So what are the things I can do to survive? It's survivor first. The first internship role I got was 30,000. So you must identify what can I do to survive. I know some of us might feel like, we are in a digital space where somebody will wake up tomorrow morning and tell you how I made 7 billion in 24 hours.
Yeah.
Yes, you see all these adverts online, and you are wondering, why should I work in a job that probably pays me 70,000, 80,000? The point is, you must understand the first step is your survivor trend. What are the things I can do that I can even survive? Because it's when you survive that you can think creatively. So, for instance, every accountant that I've happened to mentor or something, or coach, the first thing I tell them, some of them get their first salary or something, they say they want to do and do I can. I say, let I can wait. What you need is to find a space where you can learn the practical rudiment of what accounting is. Go and look for audit firms where you can learn from ground zero to the top. Spend that 1 year doing that, so that when you are applying for ICANN, you are not applying for form. You have substance, you are applying for form. Because for instance, it took me like 10 years before I started working on getting certifications. But the truth is, if it is a job, any day, anytime, I dream it, I breathe it, I will deliver it. So you must understand, how do I survive this phase? It's not even about, oh, I want this job, I want this job. What can I do to survive first? You are in a two zone. One, zone of survivor and zone of development. I remember back then, please feel free to cut me when you want me to stop, please. I remember back then, I made it an employment to myself. I don't step out of the house from early hours of 6 o'clock to about 5 o'clock when people are coming back from work. I don't on the TV, nothing like phone. Is that I'm reading, I'm writing, or I'm researching? Because I needed to engage myself. Because sometimes we pray for opportunities that we are not ready for.
Yeah.
So I think those two things you have to look at when you are just coming fresh out of school. Number one, how do I survive? Number two, what kind of development paths do I need to pull myself? I'm not talking about the one that somebody will push you into. Before we make excuses for, but I don't have money to do this, I can tell you categorically, it is easier to succeed in these days than it used to be. You have access to so many things that are free. I can tell you for free, there are so many things that we even pay for that you can get for free, but just because you didn't do little research.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
Ensure I'm not talking too much.
No problem.
So feel free to stop me.
No problem. Okay, so talking about research, right? So I recently just held a webinar on LinkedIn, right? Showing people how to use LinkedIn. Because, so we go on social media and we just see a lot of people talking about masterclass this. And I know of someone on Instagram, right? Because of the laziness of people not being able to do research, she milks them. Like, she makes a whole lot of money from them. She come on Instagram and she's saying, this is how to use ChatGPT, and people are already paying for it. So I understand that part of research. So talking about the LinkedIn webinar I just recently held, and one of the testimonials I got from those people was that I've paid for a lot of webinars, but none have been able to deliver what you just delivered. Because people are just so lazy. I'm so sorry to say. Right.
You didn't mention it.
So people are just so lazy to just go online, do research. So a lot of things that we pay for online are things that when we just sit down and just do that research, we have value for that. So thank you so much, sir. So to the next question, right? So in your own opinion, what's that underrated skill Nigerian job seekers need to improve on?
All right. It's highly underrated. I would say emotional intelligence. And the reason why I said emotional intelligence is because the core competencies in emotional intelligence include something like adaptability, communication, initiative, empathy. Yes. So I would say emotional intelligence. Sometimes everybody knows the word emotional intelligence, but they don't know that, even in your communication, there's a way it happens. Even in how you are able to read the room. For instance, let me just give you a practical scenario. When I came in this morning, from the point they received me, I know that these are happy people. So automatically activated my happiness. Even though I don't plan to be happy, as a guest speaker, when you are coming, there's a way you, yes, I'm here. You don't have a choice. You have to mirror the energy that you are receiving, because it's good. So, for instance, you walk into a place and they keep you for, maybe the interview is supposed to be for 9 a.m. and it's 9:15 or 9:30 and nothing has happened. Now, emotional intelligence, some people will tell you that, when you go for such interview, just be patient, they will come for you. But that is being passive. That is not being emotionally intelligent. Emotional intelligence says that, look, your time, the appointment you have is 9:30. So why do you even wait 30 minutes before you ask questions? So the next thing you want, emotional intelligence person will reach out to the receptionist. Please, good morning. Is anybody aware that I'm waiting? Please, can you kindly inform them? Now, I know two settings. One is that, You know, there are HR people, I call them, they have this God complex.
Yes, I was going to
So
say
the
that.
more they feel you are afraid of them, the better for their status. So, but the right thing is that don't let them rob you of your own confidence. Never allow that. So you ask question, is anybody aware that I'm supposed to have an interview by 9 o'clock? Please kindly let them know I'm here. Another 15 minutes, if they don't give you give us 30 minutes or give us 15 minutes, another 15 minutes, please can you do a reminder? Now, from our cultural perspective, you don't do that because you are like a beggar. So let me pause. Let me just say this. Whether you're going for interview, you're looking for a job, please get this clear. It's a partnership.
Yeah.
It's a buyer-seller relationship. I want this to settle in your mind. You are not inferior by being there. The employer is not better than you. I know this is a deep level of thinking, but that perspective, that mindset, that is the only thing that will make you be able to stand up and say, the interview is 9 o'clock. Are they aware that I'm here? But because when you see it like they are doing you a favor, even if you wait for 2 hours, you are still fine. True of us. So you must have that mindset. So emotional intelligence will bring you to a point where even when you are not pleased and you want to say, wow, what's happening today? The interview is actually supposed to be for 9 o'clock. I hope I'm waiting for a good reason. That is communication, but it's embedded as a competence in emotional intelligence. But some people will say, I've been waiting since. That's not emotional intelligence. Because your tone has given you out. Are you sure this person will not come here and start beating us? you understand? So it's a skill that has been highly underrated. For instance, when you get into a place, you should be able to read the room. It's called social awareness. Your ability to understand. When you're dealing with a panel, for instance, and you have 3 people, the first 3 things you want to do as you're sitting down, who is this, who is this, who is this? The way they ask their question, you should be able to know who want to entertain all your mannerism.
Okay, I'm so sorry, sir. Before we dive into that, so you were talking about emotional intelligence, right? So let's say the candidate just get delayed. So what do the candidate do? Did the candidate just walk out and say, oh, I'm no longer interested?
It's been delayed. Okay, so permit me to tell you a story. I went for an interview one time, I think about maybe 9 or 10 years ago. And while we were waiting, this happened, it's not a time issue. And I was waiting as the next person. Then I see somebody walk out at the reception and he was talking to somebody. You don't use your brain. Can't you think? You must be very stupid. Is that how you walk here? I've been telling you. And I said, God, is this where I'm coming? Because my golden strength is my peace. Nobody can tamper with it. Then, when it was my turn to walk into the interview room, guess who I met? The same lady. And I just told them that, please, I will not be proceeding with this interview. It takes a level of thinking. That is why, remember the first thing I said, survivor. If you can survive, nobody is giving you transport, nobody is paying for your airtime, your data. There are level of things you can do. Now, it's not about working out. Because the truth is, the balance to that is that sometimes you are delayed for the right reason. Maybe HR that is preparing for interview now, the CEO say, I need this report. You know he or she can't do anything. Do you understand? But there are certain cases whereby I've seen a client tell me that they can wait. And I said, no. Let me know the time you are available to interview these people. I don't want them to wait. So when you are in that space, the thing you have to do, ask questions. Are they aware that this interview is supposed to be now? Can you confirm how long they might want me to wait? Is it possible to reschedule? So you must play to the point whereby they don't use their own problem to redefine you. They say that one that is not patient. That one, you understand? Exactly. So you must create that benefit. So you can be angry and not express anger. Imagine if they kept you waiting for 30 minutes. There's a way to pain you. Imagine, I know in Lagos, for instance, when you go for interviews, you probably want to go like 30 or 1 hour before the interview, right? And you're waiting, plus or minus, that's about 1 hour, 30 minutes or 1 hour. And nobody is talking to you. You have every right to be angry. But you need to think beyond that place. It's about how you feel, not how you want them to make you feel. Yeah. So you don't have to walk out. You can ask questions. And if nobody is giving you the right answer, you can just probably, while you're there, I know this can be a busy time for you guys and all of that. I've been waiting for like an hour plus. I will likely request a reschedule if it is visible. Thank you, I'll be leaving now. You're fine. The point is, sometimes when somebody wrongs us, we want to get our own pound of flesh. Like, they've kept me waiting, so I have the right to speak to them anyhow, right? That is not being emotional intelligent. It's your ability to win without their action controlling what you do. It's about you thinking about the situation and ask yourself, what is the best option or ways to handle this situation?
All right, thank you. Thank you so much, sir, for that. Thank you. We are not clapping. I mean, these answers are very good. All right, thank you so much, sir. So before we dive into interviews, right, so you already talked about survival, gaining experience, even some survival, right? So let's go down to the basics. Having a CV, like I said, Pastor Uren mentioned, okay, some believers, I mean, which he has seen in his church, some people just anoint their CV,
Hallelujah.
right, hoping to get a good job from that. So talking about CVs now, because, I mean, HR professionals, a part of recruitment is still embedded in what we do, and we get to review a lot of CVs, right? So when you put out a role, when you put out a job advert for a role, I mean, depending on what kind of role it is. So when you see a CV, right, for you, what stands out from that CV to make you say, okay, I really want to interview this person?
Okay, so I'll look at it from two ways. Now, the first point is, it depends on the role. So if I'm looking for an experienced role, let's say I'm looking for a job that requires about 5 to 10 years experience, the first thing I'm looking at is the organization of the CV. I'm not even looking at the content yet.
Yeah.
How attractive is the CV? That's the first thing I'll look. If it's for entry level, the first place my eyes is always going to is your experience. Don't tell me you don't have experience. It's just that you don't know how to articulate the experience you have. How many of you're looking for a job and you currently assist your mom or your dad one way or the other to do certain things? Or you probably even take care of your younger ones. It's a role. It's an experience. It's just that you've not understand how to tailor that into your CV. So those are the first two things I look. For experienced role, I look at how structured is the CV. Does it look attractive? Does it look appealing? For zero level experience, I don't look at whether it's scattered or it's not scattered. I don't look at that first. The first thing I look at is, let me go to the experience. Because your experience gives me an idea that, because if I'm interviewing somebody for an internship role, one of the questions I don't miss to ask is something like, so what have you been doing the last 3 months? Don't tell me you've not been doing anything. Some people will lie, I've been reading, no problem. What's the title of the book? What's the title of the book? Tell me, just tell me, give me a summary of the book. And as you are telling me, if it's a book I've not read before, I'm Googling it, and you're telling me your lies. You must justify your lies. So it's about, for zero level, it's about what you've done. It shows me, even the things you did in school, fellowship, it's just that you've not know how to, craft it as an experience. You were the financial secretary for RCCG for how many years? And you say it's not an experience. After all, they didn't catch you that you embezzle money. So it's an experience. So you are an experienced person. Don't say, man, it's not about how my CV looks. It's about the experience you are looking for. No, because there are numbers of CVs that will be... Okay, let me give you an instance, for instance. Last 3 weeks, I was recruiting 2 people to my team. And guess what? Because the role is entry-level role. You know what will happen? The number of people that will apply will be much. Yeah. But the truth is, because I'm not using ATS, I tell you, it's not about maybe you are the most qualified. Because probably I have 100 CVs in the inbox. Do you think I'll go to the first person that submitted? No, I could probably just check the first 5 CV, jump to the next page, and you might just be lucky. Yeah. So I don't have the time to do that. So if you are telling me that, your CV doesn't have to look this way, then it becomes an issue.
All right, thank you. So still talking about that, right? So I know that there's an HR friend, she was recruiting for a procurement officer, and they didn't really need someone in the entry-level space. So the advert was put out, and when she started getting CVs, she saw a CV, although not so good, but still interviewed the person. And what has the person done in the last 1 year? Personal shopping for different people. And the person was able to, just gbas put it together. And during the interview, the person just had entry-level skills and all that, but she was able to package it. And she got the job.
Yeah. Because it shows that this person is proactive. This person is industrious. This person is hardworking. That's the impression it gives. So when you say no experience, what have you been doing the last 4 months? You said, I stay at home. Sometimes I listen to the news. Well done.
All right, so before we just go further, do anyone have any questions so far? We can just raise our hands and we can ask our questions before we go further?
Yes. I think there's someone at the back.
All right.
Please, simple questions.
All right. Who is asking? Okay, thank you.
Praise God. Praise God. Okay, I just wanted to ask, there are some job roles you see, they say you must have 5 years experience. If somebody has, let's say, 3 years or 3 years plus, you're confident that you can do the job. Can you still, is it wrong to just give it a try?
Okay, so you have 3 years experience and you feel that you can deliver on the job. There's no harm in trial. Now, what will not happen now is, where the issue will happen is this. If the company that put out that job, you are applying through ATS, you will not scale. Because it's going to filter it based on certain parameters. So, application tracking system that they use for recruitment. So if the company uses ATS, you cannot scale because they've already defined the parameter. Even LinkedIn, for instance, if I put out a job on LinkedIn, for instance, I can say I want the people that should be shortlisted should be somebody that has 5 years and above experience, must know how to use PowerPoint, must know how to use maybe Zoho, must know how to use. So automatically, because I've defined that parameter, it's going to screen you out. Yeah. But if it's for a company that just says send your CV to the following email, yes, then you have a slight chance. So what will happen in such situation is that make sure that your CV is good. That even if you are not qualified, as I'm seeing your CV and I'm thinking there is something beyond this. Then number 2, the body of your email should be selling you top notch. So it's not like those typical applications where you say find attached or something like I hereby apply for the role of blah. No, you will be intentional about it in such a way that the subject of your email could be something like, this is the person you need.
Yeah, I've been able to.
At last, this is the candidate.
Yeah.
It creates curiosity. I want to find out what gives this person the audacity to think she's the one. Then the body of your email could just be something like, maybe you want to say, let's assume the role is procurement manager and they're looking for a 5 years experience. They're saying, I have done XYZ, helping people to manage this, based on understanding your company's value and all of that. I know I'll be a great fit, especially based on the job description. I should be able to help do this. I've done this for an organization. Within typical organization, do this for 24 hours. I'm able to do my own turnaround time for 18 hours. My CV is attached. My CV is a reflection, is a mini reflection of what I can do, but meeting me will tell you much more about what I can do. Do you understand? It doesn't have to be long. Something that gives people curiosity to want to meet you. Because as HR, you can agree with me that there are times that we've shortlisted people not because they meet all the criteria, but we say, let's give this person the benefit of that. Let's hear what this person can do. I hope that helps.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Okay, so going into interviews, we've talked about CV, we've talked about sustainability, we've talked about skill and all that. So going into the interview part, Pastor Fumi was interviewing someone here, and I know we're all laughing, but some of us, this is what we do when we go for interviews. It's just a reflection of what we do. A recruiter is asking you, okay, can I meet you? Just tell me about yourself. I've heard people say, I'm from Imo State, I come from a family of 5.
I'm the last born.
Why? I don't need to hear all that. You are selling yourself. I mean, you are selling what you've been able to do in the workspace. What can you do? What have you done? If we hire you, what's our return on investment if we hire you? Right? So those are like the basic questions a recruiter or an hiring manager would want to hear. So from your own perspective, sir, when someone is asked, tell me about yourself, how can the person just answer confidently and sell themselves without sounding so rehearsed? Because I've seen, during an interview, I was interviewing someone for a customer support role, and I just said, okay, with the basic introduction and all that, tell me about yourself. And I saw this person holding a jotter, and she was reading from the jotter. Why?
That's the book of life.
Right? So how can we confidently sell ourselves without being too rehearsed?
Okay, so the first thing is, interview is not what makes you confident. If you don't have it, you don't have it. Interview is not what makes you confident. So I think it's even more, what's it called? I think it's more, we have an advantage, especially as believers. I don't see any reason why you shouldn't have confidence. But I know that some of us are at different level of, what's it called, growth, awareness, and all of that. And that's why I shared earlier that, look, you must have this mindset. An interview is an opportunity, is a buyer-seller relationship. That you know buy doesn't mean somebody else will not buy. That I didn't sell for this person doesn't mean another person will not come and I'll sell to. So you must understand that. And you see, we must, I'll get to your question, but I just need to lay this foundation. We must understand as Christians too, we have an advantage. The Bible says in Job, is it 32 verse 8? I hope I get that right. It says there is a spirit in man. The inspiration of the Almighty gives him what? Understanding. So you see, you have an advantage. You should be confident. But you see, the fact that you are going for interview and that's the time where you are now thinking of, I need to be confident, means it's not there, it's artificial. Are you getting it? It means it's not there, it's artificial. So no matter what you do, provided it's artificial, when you get to interview, it will still show. Someone like me, I don't ask interview questions like I'm serious. Because I want you to be relaxed, because I know that a lot of people are under pressure. Yeah, so I probably will be asking, I say, I like your glasses. So what's up? Where did you get it from? I just want you to be relaxed. So when they ask you, like the guy was trying to, standing like, robot. You don't want to move this thing. The point is, it's a reflection of the thinking that has to do with what interview is all about. Because if, for instance, you walk into a place, I know some people will stand until they ask them to sit down, right? But it shows that confidence is missing. If I walk into that room, 5 seconds. 5 seconds is long. Can I sit? May I sit? Do you understand? Because it's a buyer-seller relationship. When you want to sell something, does the buyer goes under pressure or the seller goes under pressure? It's a mutual thing. I have interviewed people for banks that a particular bank A did not take, bank B takes. So we must even get this right. I'll get to your question. That interview is not the true test of competence. Interview is not the true test of competence, or better still, not the absolute test of competence. Because the same person I interview, that I say no, you might interview that person and say yes. So if you must get it right, the mindset. And one, before we begin to talk into interviews, you must own yourself, know who you are, enjoy who you are. Then let's get to interview. When you get to interview, please, under no circumstances should you assume that robotic posture. You are waiting for them to ask you to sit. I know HRO has their own drama because some of them, they want to. Do you know that some HRO, your confidence is the reason why you not pass that interview? Yes. Your confidence is the reason why you will not pass that interview. Because we deal with people every day, and some people will transfer their low self-esteem on you. Because if they are not confident, they don't expect you to be confident. So when you walk in there, you should be able to mirror people. There are some people, their greatest strength is for you to massage their ego. If you have to massage it, you massage it intentionally. Now, when you get into an interview room, if it's a single person, you want to sit, you sit. When they ask you questions, please don't frown. You are not under pressure. Except you put yourself there. You are not under pressure. Now, when they ask you, tell me about yourself. What they are simply saying, they are not asking for your local government. They are not asking you the state you are from. They are not asking you about your mother. They are not asking you what you suffered during childhood. None of that. That question is a sales question. And I can almost tell you the length of an interview will be determined on that answer. Okay. The length of that interview will be determined by that response. So if you ask somebody like me, tell me about you now, I will struggle, but I will summarize it. Because I do recruitment, I do training, I do coaching, I write, I speak, I do business consulting. So if you say, tell me about yourself now, the summary will just be, I am an HR professional who specializes in helping people sleep well. Now, that creates curiosity, true of us. How do you mean sleep well? Do you understand? Then, because you have asked me, I'll say, I deal with leaders who struggle to manage team performance. And I help them to identify their A players, their B players, and understanding the dynamics that will help everyone perform better. Does it create more curiosity? Yes. I own that conversation. I am selling. So whether you have experience or not, just imagine the only experience you had is the experience where you were the prayer papa in a RCF. Now you'll be wondering, how did I say that is my experience, right? It's English, it's vocabulary. It's vocabulary. So you say, oh, my name is Martins. I graduated from, because the earlier or the lower your experience level, the things I will say based on 11 going to 12 years experience will be different from somebody who is just having 1 year experience. So if I'm saying, okay, I just came out of school, this is my first interview. My name is Martins. I'm an hardworking, energetic, proactive individual. Part of the things I've done in the last 4 years is to help people build their drive towards attaining their dreams. Curiosity is that, what did you do? Right? How? So part of the things, I was responsible for the prayer unit of my fellowship. I ensure that programs are scheduled with the right frame, vis-a-vis knowing their, their lecture timetable, to ensure that there is no clash and priorities are balanced. Tell me you are not interested. Talk to me, are you interested for more? Because it's about knowing the right things to say. Because most times, the people that will get the job, they are not better than you. They are not. It's about how they are able to. Imagine somebody who helps our mom in Balogun Market, and the person is is explaining that I help manage business operation in a global boutique fabric shop.
But that doesn't mean some people go ahead to even lie a lot.
No, when you
even
lie,
with that,
if somebody like me, it's very easy to catch you. So what we are saying is, narrate your story in such a way that it creates an impression that you know what you're doing. Because it's when you don't know what you're doing, you say, I'm assisting my mom in the shop. Shop, bow, is it not business? Talk to me. Is it not business? It's business. So what do you do there? Redefine that role as a job and present it in such manner.
All right. Thank you so much for that. Okay, so before we go for that.
So let me put it. So another thing you must do during interview, learn to mirror energy. If somebody is not smiling to you, that should not make you frown.
Aura for aura.
Because some people, what they do is that they want to see how confident you are, so they frown to see if you lose guard. And there are some people, when they smile at you, making you feel comfortable, don't be too vulnerable. That's not the time. They say, hey, so why did you leave your last job? Many organizations, they do a lot of things. Some managers can be stupid. That's when you know, that's my former manager. That guy is an idiot. Sir, if he's the one, he will not be having conversation like this. Honestly, you have passed that interview in a negative sense. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you must be guided. That's why, before we get to all this interview, remember the foundation is the key thing. If you get it, I'm telling you, you go for interview like you are going for a normal conversation. It's a conversation.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's just the mindset you give to it. It's a conversation. And the fact that somebody comes today and the person doesn't buy this product doesn't mean somebody else will not buy it tomorrow. So always register these two things. Interview is not a true test of competence. Number 2, recruitment hiring is a buyer-seller relationship. They see something in your CV before they invited you for the interview. They should have invited a portable.
All right, does anyone have any question before we on interviews? Okay.
Thank you so much. Let me sip water.
Thank you so much, sir. I want to find out, what do you advise individuals to do when it gets to the area of remuneration and you're about to negotiate your salary? I've seen certain roles in which you are on the same level, howbeit your colleague is earning way more than you. what happens in that situation, in that scenario, so that at the end of the day, you don't dive or you don't price yourself lesser than what you are meant to be paid based on the capacity of the organization. You see interviewers ask that, so how much were you paid before? How much do you want to earn? and you know, or you might not even know, how should one prepare to ensure that you don't overprice. I know there are tailored questions that say, what is the minimum that your organization is paying for, or what are they paying in this role for the organization? These are already tailored, doctored questions and response. But how best do you advise individuals to go about it so that you don't underprice yourself?
This is like interview. An organization is interviewing you, right? So the first thing is this. Like you said, there will be tailored questions like, what is your salary expectation? What is the minimum? Give us a range. Now, one of the things is this. Organizations that ask these questions, they have, what's it called? They are different organizations. Some organization doesn't ask you this question. Because regardless of how much you say, regardless of the suit you wear to the interview, they already have a salary peg. There's nothing you can do about it. Now, for certain organizations that ask you, oh, what's the minimum you can take? Some of them might be pioneer position. Maybe, for instance, they don't have a procurement manager before now. They are wondering how much they should earn. Now, how much you want them to pay has nothing to do with them. It has everything to do with you. And you must be realistic. You must be realistic. Now, some organization that we want them to pay us maybe like 5 million per month may not have the capacity to pay, but they want that particular talent, that grade of talent. Now, there's nothing you do, there's nothing you say that will ensure that they pay that amount. But in a context whereby you know that this organization can pay, the onus lies on you to know how much you want to pay, how much you want to take. And if we run with the mindset I established earlier, you will know that it's better to price yourself higher than to price yourself lower. So, for instance, I remember a company reaching out to me. Somebody sent us your CV. I was not looking for a job anyway. Somebody sent us your CV, and we were looking at you for HR role. I said, hey, HR role, what's the name of your company? He mentioned, I said, okay. I said, he said, can you come to our office on Thursday for interview? I said, I don't attend interviews like that. So there are 3 questions I must ask before I know if I want to attend interview. Number 1, what's your work mode? What's your salary range? And she said their salary range. I said, no, it's far from it. That's the salary of 2017. And she said, so what do I want? And I mentioned, he said, even me, that is the group head of HR, is not collecting that amount. So, you understand? And for me, I said that not with any sense of pride. That is what I think I want. As a matter of fact, on a good day, I probably will earn that in a day. Yes. I've worked in a place whereby there are times where I have opportunity to do things, and the salary they'll pay me for entire year, I mean entire 12 months, I will earn it a day. So that gives me a different perspective. So for you, what you have to look at is, what kind of organization is this? What do you really want? What do you think you want? Based on maybe your network colleague, what is obtainable in this industry? Because you have to look at the industry, for instance. If it's oil and gas, for instance, you will find out that their salary range is almost similar. So you know where you want to be. If it's a company that you know that these ones, they are not whatever, it's about you now, not so much about them. But in a standard organization, it's about them. So they will tell you this is what their typical. You would have even known, because if it's a standard organization, one way or the other, you would have contacted people to say, oh, this organization, what do they do? What do you think is their typical? There are some organizations, you Google them on glassdoor.com. You will see them. Oh, they pay so amount for entry level. They pay so amount. But I remember one, they say they pay well, but if you go there, you will walk, So it's about, from the 2 aspects. One, if it's a structured organization, they already have an amount. So asking you that question is just to hear what you will say. It doesn't have any material basis. The other one is you knowing what you are worth at that time and what you want. So if, for instance, now, your next projection is to earn like 3 million a month net, and you say, oh, 3 million net, but you know that plus or minus, I'm still open 2.5, 2.7. Let them come back if they want to have that conversation. And another thing is, sometimes when organizations say, what is your minimum? I mean, what is your minimum? Always say the highest, because some people will pay you the minimum. Always say the highest. So if your goal at this point is 3 million net, when they ask you your minimum, what is the minimum? 3 million. So a lot of times we are afraid to call money. And I suffered from that while I was growing in my career. I would say, it's not about the money. Please, it's about the money. It's about the money. It's about the money. I say it's not about the money. And guess what? The truth is, when you maintain that disposition, I'm telling you, people are going to treat you that way. It's about the money. We know much more that we don't live for the money, but it's part of it. I don't know if that helps.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much. So because of time, we'll just entertain one more question, and that's it. All right. Okay. Who is asking?
Okay. So my question is away from interviews, yeah? Okay, so my boss says something at work, says reward for good work is more work. I don't like that statement, right? But that's what happens to me, and I'm using myself as an example now. So in my unit, if my colleague is supposed to handle this and he's probably reluctant and he doesn't do it, they tend to push that work, like take that work from that person, and most likely always me, giving it to me like, oh, because I deliver on time and all of that. So now it's choking, it's getting really heightened that it just seems like every work that someone else is not doing, they just push it to me, and all of that. And how do you say, so my question is, how do you say no and not be a bad employee or a bad person to your boss? That's my question.
All right, I like that. It's just that you are not choked enough. But so when you said that, the first thing that occurred to me is a leadership issue. Sometimes we just tend to think it's just attitude, but it's a leadership issue. Every time a leader gets a job or delegates a job and he ends up doing that job, you think, oh, you are helping the people. You are not helping them. It's just a failure on your part. It's a failure on your part. So the first thing you want to do is, those guys, do they really want to work? Is it a sincere competency gap? Or is just people who have attitude problem, who don't want to deliver? Because when you say the reward for good work is more work, hope the pay is more pay. So the point is, one of the things I teach people when I was actively an HR manager is the fact that people will come to me and say, this is what my boss is doing, this is what my boss is doing, please talk to him. I say, me? Talk to your boss? I don't do that. I train you on how to go and talk to your boss. Yes, you must have that conversation. If your boss speaks to you the way you don't like and you don't feel good about it, HROC, he insulted me, he was verbal. I say, calm down. You are going to look at him in the face and say, sir, I know this morning you were very tensed and these were your words to me. I don't think it's appropriate. Remember, please don't forget, my conversation is sequential. Remember the first thing I said, survivor. Most time the reason why we are not bold about certain things is survivor. It's survivor. Once you know survivor is sorted, there are conversations you will have with all sense of confidence. So if I were in your position, it means one thing has been validated. This guy is good, right? This guy is good. So the next thing is this. They can't be paying 4 people for a particular job and one person is doing it. So you have the conversation. Before you have the conversation with your manager, is to even have the conversation with your team member. Please, where are you having struggle? I know that whenever they ask you to do end of year or month report, you struggle to deliver within the timeline. So where exactly are you having struggle? So we can sit after work today, let me put you through. You can spend that one day and save yourself of recurring, issue. If you try that approach and the person doesn't feel like, Baba, forget that thing, I'm good. You note it down. Then the next step is to now go to your manager. I don't think we have the team that will give us the result we want. But in Nigeria, we don't have like having this conversation. Let it not be I'm the one that reported. Don't worry, your health will report. I've learned to have frank conversation. I don't used to be like this. Before, if you want to talk about money, I'll say, anything. But now I know it cannot be anything. So you must learn to have that frank conversation. Then you go to your boss and say, look, The reason why we struggle in this area is because of this. I've tried to make an attempt to help them individually. Since it's not working, I think in order for us to be in a good place, because there are days whereby for one or two reasons, I might not be reachable for a week or even a month. Nobody knows anything. So what will happen? I think if they are not willing for internal training, maybe we get external resource to train them. Otherwise, if it's not working, we'll probably need a replacement. But you must follow through that process and have this conversation. Don't tell me the reward for work is more work. Is there more pay? Is there promotion? So you must have this frank conversation, not from the point of self-centeredness, but for the organization. Because if everybody is not playing their role, somebody is suffering. Something is suffering. Yeah. Hope that works.
Yes. All right, so because of time, does anyone have... Wow. So, sorry, I'm so sorry. We won't be able to...
Happy
brother.
I
need to ask this question. I've been
Okay. 5 seconds. 5 seconds, that's it. Go on with your question.
Okay. My question is this. So...
Okay. Sorry. Before you go further, do anyone have questions apart from him? So you guys, just after him, next person, take your question. We can have all the questions at once, and then he answers. Oh, 5 seconds. That's it. Thank you. Yes.
He made mention about people who don't know how to implement their roles, like things they've done in their CV. So for someone that knows how to speak it out and doesn't know how to impute it on his CV, what are the tips you can give to help that person write it down?
Let me be sure I get you. For somebody who knows the job,
how to present,
but doesn't know how to put it
on their CV.
Yes.
All right. Does someone else have a question? All right. Go ahead. 5 seconds. Thank you.
My question is very direct. For someone who actually is going for an interview for a role that he has not attained at any point before, how best do you advise the person to really address the interview process? How best?
Is it an entry-level role or experienced role, but not something you've done before?
Experienced role, actually.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, another question, please. Thank you.
Okay, so I want to follow up on that more work stuff. So now you are in the position where you were employed for a certain task, and now you are doing more than that. How do you sit with your boss and say, okay, I think this amount of money you are paying has exceeded what I was doing, and I want more.
They should review your pay, right?
Exactly, yes.
Okay, just one more question and that's it. Thank you.
Okay, my question is, how do you handle HR that infringe into your privacy? In times of ladies, you go for an interview, say, tell us about yourself, and you want to talk about the job you work in for the interview. For the HR, go ahead to ask you, do you have a boyfriend? And all that. So how do you handle that? Do you know, how many are you in your family? But you're told not to say that. So how do you handle that? Thank you.
Has that really happened?
Okay. So you remember the question, right?
Okay, so the first person said he has the experience but doesn't know how to articulate.
One house, please pay attention because I have one question at the end too.
Okay, so the first person said he has the experience, doesn't really know how to articulate his experience into the CV. The second person said, okay, he doesn't have experience in the role, but he wants to at least just attempt it.
Let me answer one after the other.
Okay.
So the first one has to do how to articulate
experience into his CV.
Okay, so before now, I'll tell you that it's about, maybe you talk to someone you can tell me, for instance, if you tell me what that experience is now, I will sit with you, I will articulate it for you. But now, thanks be to ChatGPT, express your conscience. Express that prompt very well. So it's like this. Hi, ChatGPT. See, this is what I've done in the last 15 years, in the last 5 years, I know how to do this, I know how to do that, I know how to do this, and all of that. I want you to help me create a very concise CV that is professional, that can help me articulate these skills as my experience of what I've done and what I can do. Do you understand? I tell you, it will produce something robust for you. Do you understand? it will produce something for you. Just be sincere so that you don't go and put something in your CV. They ask you, how did you do this? You say, So just, I in the last 3 years, I've been managing office for my mom. I go to the shop, I open the shop, I take her stock orders, I help her manage her customer list and all of that. I want you to help me create this into a professional job experience that of things I've done. Give it a role or a title that position me for more professional opportunities. Trust me, ChatGPT will do it. If I can do it, ChatGPT will do much more.
All right, thank you, sir. So the second question, the second person said that how if he wants to attempt a role that he hasn't done before, right? That was your question. So how does he do that?
So the first thing is that there is something they've seen on your CV that makes them invite you for a role that you don't have experience, right? So now, typically, especially for experienced people, I say whenever you are moving from company A to company B, regardless of how huge the salary is, always find a way to ask what is happening there. Find a way to ask what is happening there. And I'm saying this because I've seen somebody who resumed as a COO in the company in January and was asked to go in March. Because while the person was coming on board, they give her an impression that she is the COO. And internally, there's somebody also being the COO. The idea was to make them clash. So the idea is that this person will do better than this person. Unfortunately, the person that was inside before was doing much more better than her, so she has to leave. So why I said you have to do that is that so you know what that job will entail. Do you have reasonable people that will give you the time to grow in that role, or there are people that say you must action things almost immediately? So some of the things you want to look at is look at the JD. What are those core technical skills that you need for that role? What are the other skills, like soft skills that you know that for instance, if the role entails something like maybe a role that entails you interfacing with accounts or finance unit, you know that you need some level of patience to get certain things done. So when you are able to identify those things, look for how you can read up about those things. Also, the greatest advantage is for you to have a network of people who have worked in similar position and say, please, can I get 30 minutes of your time next week, next month? Or so tell me, in the typical work day, life of social role title, what do you think it entails? When you started, what are the things that helped you? Do you understand? So that gives you a frame that even when you're speaking in the course of the interview, they will know that this person is not actually standing from ground zero. This person has gone to do his or her background work. I don't know if that helps.
All right. The third person, the question was more work, which doesn't align with your actual pay. How do you have that conversation with your boss, right?
You will have that conversation. Remember, don't forget this. It's a buyer-seller relationship. You have that conversation. So the point is how you have that conversation. One of the things I teach a lot is about personality. Your ability to understand the people you're dealing with. For instance, I've dealt with certain bosses that their only approach to dealing with them is when you guys are winning. You can't bring any requests to the table except, maybe last week's performance was great. You can't bring any. If you bring it, no matter how good it is, they are going to trash it. They are going to downgrade it. What are you talking about? We are talking about performance dropping. You are talking as your effort you are talking about, as it yield to performance. So what are you talking about? So if you understand that kind of person, you have to identify when is the best time to have this conversation. And remember, when you want to have this conversation, especially if you have studied personality. So if I'm dealing with somebody who I know to be defensive and egoistic, the way I go about it, I don't put myself in the center. I put the business. So there's a difference between, I've been working here for the last 3 years, and you see the work keep piling. I do DevOps, I do front end, now I'm currently doing networking and all of that. So it's a lot. And the pay, I think I need a review. There's a difference between that and this. So I think the business is growing and the team is expanding. And I know that we need more excellent hands to do the job. Right now, I know I'm the one doing this 1, 2, 3 role, and it's quite stretching. I know that the business can see the impact of the things I'm doing, and I'm hoping and thinking a review should be considered. They are two parallel conversations. They are two different things. Because you don't want to say certain things that get people defensive. Some people can ask you, even though you are doing all the work, what exactly are you doing? What exactly are you doing? So sometimes, if you are able to understand that personality, you are able to know how to have the conversation. If it's somebody that is an exciting personality, for instance, so it is just look for things that is exciting. Maybe the day they are hopefully Arsenal wins the match that day, and you just go to him or her and say, "Boss, I want us to continue on this winning streak. Boss, as Arsenal is winning, I think I also need to win." How do you mean? Do you understand? You have that conversation. You must have that conversation. Don't wait until you are displeased, dissatisfied, because one day you will burst.
Yeah.
It will not be the way you want to articulate it. You would have said something. After all, I was here before this person. I was here before this person. This person is ending this. This person, do I have to it? You will lose the loyalty you've built over time because you've not planned how to intentionally have that conversation. So don't run away from that conversation. I have suffered from it. I don't want to talk about money. But I'm telling you, talking about money is one of the greatest strengths you can have. Talk about it.
All right, thank you so much, sir. So the last question says, during an interview, the HR person infringes in the person's privacy. How do you go about that?
So, like I said, there are many HROs that are suffering from low self-esteem. And the only way they can display that is to feel like God. So, because I don't see any correlation with asking you, especially if it's at the first level of the interview. I know why some people ask those questions. Some of them has to do with roles that are sensitive. But however, as an HR professional, for instance, when you ask somebody a question like this, how old are you? And the person is reluctant to answer that question. I don't expect you to ask other personal questions. I don't expect you to go further. But when they go further to ask you, like, are you married? It's very simple. In as much as I want to talk about this, in as much I know that you want to know about this, it's something that I don't like talking at the first instance of any interview. Do you understand? You don't have to. I know that the person doesn't have the right, in quotes, but also, like I said, don't give people the room to make who you are not. Because there's tendency for you to say, why do you want to know? I don't like talking about that. No. Because some of them is not what they actually want to do, but those questions makes them feel who they want to feel like. So is how you are emotionally intelligent enough to, carry that question that is irritating and turn it into something that is trivial. Wow, you want to know if I'm married or not? Is there anything particular you're going to do for me about that if I tell you? Do you understand? Because I don't see any, but there are certain roles you'll be forced. In fact, they don't even need to ask you. They'll just give you a form, you answer. Are you married? They'll ask you. How many kids do you have? They'll ask. Do you understand? How old are you? They'll ask you. And they'll put it required, so you can't skip it. So it's also about what I call internal perception, how you are able to take what people are saying and give it a meaning that helps your feelings to answer that question in a way that you are not triggered. So you're asking me, maybe somebody said, oh, I'm a divorcee. You say, what happened? Well, I know you probably somebody that is interested in gist. I wish we can have a coffee over life sometime. Leave it at that. So I'm not saying fight them. I'm saying take the question, interpret it the way that makes you feel better, and answer it that way. Nobody will tell you, don't you want to talk? Just know that place, you should not even come there. I hope that helps.
All right. Thank you.
I have no question.
All right.
So I have my question for you now. Is that fair?
Yes.
Okay, my question is simple. For instance, you've been looking for a job, 6 months, 3 months, 1 year, and you are angry that other people are getting the job and you are not getting the job. As a Christian that you are, what would be your reaction? Don't preach. I need you to be truthful. Anybody?
Yeah, you can go ahead.
My view is very simple, like I said.
You have a job.
First thing is review your CV. Review your CV, reorganize your CV, then try.
Okay, let me help you. Your CV is reviewed.
Yeah, exactly.
You even paid the AVP to review it. Your CV is now, you have about 21 different templates of CV. So let's go.
Well, as a believer,
Exactly.
First thing is you pray. You ask for.
Okay.
Hold on. Sorry.
Okay. I'm trying to make it fast for you.
Okay.
Now. Let's assume you just got the email of the last. Your enemy just got the email of the last interview, and they say, you know how our email comes now. You say,
email.
thank you, Mr. Kunle, for spending your time with us, interviewing with us.
Unfortunately.
You just got that. How? I want to pass a message because as Christians, there are some things we need to get right.
Well, I'm kind of lost on what to say right now.
Okay, pass the mic. Let's do it. If possible, somebody who is going through that moment right now, I want to talk to you. Okay, please, give somebody that is going through that moment right now. Okay. Tell me what you do.
Praise the Lord. I think the reaction I would get, I'll feel probably my family people are disturbing me. They don't want me to get the job. So I would probably go on fasting and praying.
All right.
Praise the Lord. So I am actually going through that moment right now. So for my kind of job here, for the place I applied to that I wanted, everybody in my class, we all applied there. And we don't even submit CV. You just upload your license, upload your WAEC result, those kind of things. You don't need CV, eh? And they've called everybody. They've called them, and they've not called me. So at some point, I was angry at God, like, why?
Tell me something. You're angry at God, though.
So, like, I was angry there, because even my friend that is even an atheist, like, I don't believe in God. She has gotten, and I'm a worker in church, I do this, I do that, and it's not coming. But I've gotten to a point where I'm just relaxed, like, it will come eventually, Sha. So.
Okay. Please, that's the last person, please. Okay.
Praise the Lord. Okay, so I just wanted to share an experience. I experienced this some time back when I finished my program in school. And at the time, PwC was coming to our school to get the first 4 in the department. So I finished up in my department, and when the school department sent our names to the organization, I was expecting that at least I finished first class, and then I should be like the number 1 person that they will pick and all of that. So myself and several other persons in the department, we were shortlisted. And unfortunately, that day, myself and one of us that went there, I was just walking on the way, and then she told me she has gotten her own invitation. And I'm like, how come I've not gotten mine? So I stayed on. In fact, I texted them back that, okay, so what's up? And I didn't get it. So there was this code that descended on me, and it affected me for a very, very long time. After a few weeks of waiting, it didn't come, and I just gave up on it. So I got another job to another place that was paying lesser by 10 times lesser than where she was. And I am happy that I went through that process because it broadens my idea and knowledge about the field that I am into right now. So that's just mine.
All right, thank you. So just give me a few minutes. Now, the first thing I want to tell us as believers, eat well. Eat well. Tell your neighbor, eat well. Listen, hello, eat well. Now, what I'm saying is this. In the moment where you are troubled, in moment where you are under, experiencing unpleasantness, and things are not working the way you want them, you know what will come out? Is the food that you've eaten. I'm telling you. You see, when I cite things that are unpleasurable, I remember, going for you have to get business from different companies, and they are telling you, who is this guy, who brought him, and all of that. It has happened a couple of times. Then, instead of, my neighbors at home knows when I'm angry, because that is where you know who I am. I'm a child of God. And I don't speak to the situation anymore. I don't speak to the situation. I speak to who I am. Things are coming to the brightness of my rising. I am blessed beyond every disappointment. I am highly favored and highly sought after. Because the truth is, they are not coming out because I planned it. It is there. Mm-hmm. I know it. It is there. So we are pressed on every side. What will come out is what you've eaten. It's not about we have shared the grace. What pastor said, is it there? Does it digest? Because if it does not digest, in a moment of disappointment, nothing will come out. Nothing will come out. So eat well, eat well. So that when I'm angry, my neighbors, they know, because you'll be hearing my voice. Because sometimes you know how the devil plays trick, and he'll be telling you, you see this job, you never say something. 6 years, you will suffer. Or for instance, you go married, you say, child, you want to get child, you never say anything. You see all that testimony I give in church, 12 years, you're 13. And you will just keep quiet like that. No, let the food you have eaten, let them come out. Out of my belly flows rivers. It's not a conversation. You don't. Every environment, because the truth is, if you don't create your reality, your environment will create it.
Yeah.